can't let it ruin your day. But yeah, you do have to keep in the back of your mind that it's an inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I actually was having conversations with my family about where we could possibly go, and actually pull up this map here. This is a map from modernsurvivalblog.com, but this shows all of the nuclear targets map here in the United States. And I'm just sitting here looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in here in Missouri. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm on
Telling
fire.
me, dude, I'm in Texas.
Yeah, you're down here, right? Yeah, look at Texas is on fire. California's on fire.
I'm in
Whole
an
east,
undisclosed location.
everywhere on the east side is on fire. But if you look here, guys, look at this. There is a little
Capsides in
area.
Kansas.
Yeah.
Fuck no, I'm not.
No,
It's in
no, no,
Missouri.
look, there is a
No,
this seems to be the safest spot right here, Nebraska and Kansas.
Yeah, but you want to know something? The worst of a nuclear strike is not the initial blast. That's the godsend. The fallout and radiation is the problem.
Yeah.
And
And that's why if you guys could find a bunker here in Nebraska or in Kansas, that's where you want to be.
southern Kansas, yes.
Yeah. Or you go out here in the woods, or I mean, not in the woods, but Idaho. Idaho looks like it's, oh, you got one.
Yeah, well, you got Yellowstone out there.
Like
Yeah,
Nevada, too.
You know what? It's actually interesting because that's actually where we keep a lot of our nukes here in Montana.
And our nuclear reactors.
Here's a very scary situation is they're not they would be really stupid to nuke Yellowstone. I mean, not only would that really screw up our country, they could just blow away our whole country by nuking Yellowstone, but that would cause some drastic like crap in the entire world. Like that would just mess everything up because that's a super volcano. I don't know what nuking a super volcano would do, but I'm sure it's not good.
No, it doesn't sound too great.
Nukes are it's proven nuclear tested that nukes are proven to on fault lines to cause earthquakes or to help induce earthquakes. So yeah, that's a major fault line. So yeah, I could definitely say. And then considering that also in not in close proximity, but considering how large that super volcano is, that in that northern part of the country, there's like at least 5, I think it's 3 to 5 nuclear power plants. So it's just like one detonation after another.
Somebody said China can invade the US any minute now. I'm going to tell you guys my theory of how you guys can invade the United States.
Don't do that. Don't give anybody ideas.
Oh, I've already thought of it too.
Yeah, here. So let me tell you guys, this is my scenario. We can all have our own scenarios. We'll go through all of them. So here's my scenario. So as you guys could see, this is the United States.
But don't do this, okay? Don't do it.
What?
No, this is
not, just a scenario.
This is just a fun war game.
So you guys actually know we actually have a bunch of military bases along here in the Caribbeans. And that's like our line of defense here in the Gulf of Mexico, because I believe this is actually our biggest weakness. So what Russia could do, or even China could do, is they could nuke here. They would nuke the Caribbeans. So that way they could be able to get their ships in here, pass all in, and basically go up what I would call the asshole of the United States, which is the Mississippi River. So they would take over New Orleans. That would be the city to take over, which New Orleans is probably one of the worst cities in the country to live in, at least one of the major cities. Mississippi is also the poorest country, and Louisiana. Like these two states are, yeah, they are the weakest links of the bunch of the United States. So if they could take over these two states, I would say, and then they would use the Missouri River to take their ships, because Missouri River is a pretty big river. You could get your ships all the way up through the United States.
That's the Mississippi.
Or I'm sorry, not Missouri. The Mississippi River. Sorry. The Mississippi River, yeah, it goes all the way up through Memphis.
Right.
St. Louis.
Okay.
all the way
So and then from where? What do they go?
Minneapolis.
Where do they go from there?
And then they would probably nuke the entire East Coast and the West Coast. Like the coasts are going to get nuked.
Why
And
is
then I would
nukes
say
always in
Kansas
the scenario?
City, Denver, if they nuke those, they would be nuking those, hoping that, I mean, if they're smart, the weather pass, if you're trying to take out like our farm or crops, like that's where all of our crops are. So they would definitely be nuking in this area as well.
Okay. Is that so? That's your theory? And it complete.
Yes, that's it.
All right, JPat. What you got?
I don't have a theory, to be honest with you. I don't
What
know.
what
I mean,
what do you think? What do you think would be a smart move? What would you do if you had the button?
well, I mean, I would probably go with DAP. I mean, I think Louisiana is a good start. And taking out Cuba, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, or even
And
moving in
Cuba,
from
I guess-
Florida. Even
And
moving in
I
from
forgot to
Florida.
mention this, guys. They use Cuba as a, they have reliance with Cuba. Russia does that. They can
Yeah.
actually import. That's
I
they
mean,
have
yeah,
bases there.
even entering through Florida would be a
Telling you guys,
possibility.
dude, it is a possible invasion. Like, dude, they are not that far from Cuba.
Mhm.
Russia has bases on Cuba.
Is that it?
Go ahead. I know you're
Oh, I'm
anxious.
itching. I'm itching.
Let's hear it.
Yeah,
So,
let's hear it.
I'm gonna go at your theory first, and then I'll lay mine out. So the problem with your theory or well, let me ask you this before I answer.
We're not planning for Russia, by the way. This is all we're just talking.
I was
okay?
just
This is
about
all
to say
discussion.
what country involved. What country is involved in
I'm
your
speaking
proposed
to the
invasion?
chat right now.
Y'all
Your
look like planning for Russia.
Your hypothetical.
We're just having
invasion,
discussions. This
Which
is all
which
discussions.
countries
This
are
is all
involved?
hypothetical.
Just Russia?
Let's get back to what we were talking about.
That's what I said. In your hypothetical, which countries are involved? Is it just Russia?
Russia or China, yeah.
Is it Russia and China, or just
Well,
Russia?
it's
You need to
Russia,
be clear.
China. It's Russia, China, Iran, and maybe North Korea.
Okay. All right. So in your theory, Russian troops, Russian ships, Russian military, Chinese, Iranian, and all those troops have to come through the either the Norwegian Sea, Baltic, or the Baltic Sea, the Mediterranean, or the Cape of Horn, which are all territories of NATO. Okay. So
they would have to nuke those first.
no, nukes. That's nukes. God, stop with the nukes. Okay, stop with the nukes. Okay, I will poke your nukes theory to fucking kingdom hell in just a second. But let me get through where I'm at. I'm just saying they have to travel a very far distance that direction to get to those ports or to get to those areas. They will be detected before they even get close.
Yeah.
So that right there just dissolves your whole theory. But let's just say that somehow, some way, they sneak by every which way fashion, and they get to the bases and the area.
They have to get to Cuba.
They get to Cuba, the Bahamas, the Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands,
Or Venezuela.
the Guantanamo, all those things. They gotta get through all that. Okay. First off, taking New Orleans first is dumb. I wouldn't take New Orleans first if that's the direction I'm coming from. I'm taking the Panama Canal. Why? To cut off the United States' other navy. So I take Panama, cut off the United States Navy, take them 6 months to go around South America to get over here. Because if I hold Panama, they ain't getting through.
And they could get to Panama easily from Venezuela.
Panama would be
or
easier
Cuba.
and more easy. You could easily take Panama more so than you could take United States sovereign soil.
Yeah.
So I would take Panama first, come through the south, because then once you take Panama, Chinese ships sail from the Pacific and could meet you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you
the
could come up
Chinese-
that direction, which is my plan. So that's where I'll get into my plan. My plan, if I was them, would be to feint an Atlantic Sea attack, take a couple unneeded units, ships, whatever, start heading this direction, get detected, send your real force from the Pacific, take Panama, cut off the Navy, and cut in half, but come from the west. Western seaboard. Why do you come from the western seaboard, you may ask? Go up, please. If you take the ports of San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, 3 major ports, all 3 semi-decently close together in the south. You take those and you have all major highways, access to all the major highways leading up to the cities, or all the, infrastructure. It's not much up north that's hard to defend because it's heavily wooded area. But
Mhm.
once you get past the forests and the valleys in California, past Los Angeles and San Diego, you pretty much have a wide valley for tank divisions to just blow through in the desert.
Yep.
And
you
once
could
they
possibly-
reach Texas, West Texas, it's pretty much same. I mean, they have the mountains and stuff, but they can go around it. And they hit Kansas wide open. Then they can reach, and once they hit the Mississippi, they can hold the Mississippi and go for negotiations, because they hold the entire West Coast, which is where most of our power, the Hoover Dam, which provides most of the power, most of our food, a lot of citizenry, a lot of shit's over here in the West, but it's not as heavily populated, and I mean, not necessarily defended, but it's just more sparsed out. So reaction forces would take longer to get to, whereas on the eastern seaboard, everything's close together. Washington D.C., Baltimore, Pittsburgh, all that's close. You can get to all those cities within an hour or two.
Yeah.
20 minutes by helicopter. Jet, 5 seconds. But in the western parts of the country, flying from Las Vegas to Los Angeles in a jet is going to take you 15-20 minutes, even fucking burning your shit.
Yeah, and you could see possibly, Russia or China trying to make deals with the Mexican cartel.
Right. That I was
Yeah.
just to say that's a quite
Absolutely.
possibility, giving them money to, do guerrilla tactics on the border, sure. Because if you tie up the Texas National Guard and forces of the United States military on the border down there, then you hold them off from advancing towards California and stopping that advance, because you want to hold them before they can get into that open territory in Nevada, because if they get out of the valleys in California, it's going to be hard to stop. You have to stop them in the valleys of the Californias.
Yeah.
So that's just my hypothetical.
So there's your theories on how to invade the United States.